Hello, 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 you beautiful, magnanimous souls. My name is Michelle, and it's an honor to share in this space with you today. Today I'm going to be speaking about all things related to regret. And the reason why I'm kind of opening up the door to all things related to regret is because it'll allow you to see perspectives on how you might hold regret on a certain topic or situation or experience that might be hurting you in some way, shape, or form. For me, my lessons that I've learned through experiencing regret were pertaining to relationships. When I share with you ideas and topics of all the wisdom that I've gained and was able to heal myself, by me sharing this with you, it's going to allow me to continue to expand healing and growing and spreading my unconditional love even more powerfully to the collective. So a little bit about myself. I am an indigo starseed light worker, and I am performing missionary work through sharing my lessons and helping others on the lessons that I've learned to assist in elevating people's vibrational frequency. So I like to speak with a lot of passion, and because I'm a very passionate speaker, I might say words that you might find offensive. If that is you, then go ahead and click off the video. You know, the F and S word are typically the words that might spill out of my mouth. This is not a scripted video. This is just something that has been a topic that was recently addressed that I really want to share with all of you. So in my particular circumstance, I've been able to work through different programs within my template so that I can remove them and start thinking and feeling from a higher perspective. And those programs are directly related to the judgment programming, the victimization programming, which is blanketed and covered through the fear program. So the opposite of the fear program is love. And since our core essence is made out of pure love, the idea is for me to navigate the complexity of all the different emotions that we feel as humans to really get to the core issue of what might not allowing us to experience life in a peaceful, calm way. Different emotions of which that we feel that are triggered through these programs. So then that way I can assist you as well on bringing insight into my awareness as to what might directly be related to one of those programs. So mind you, some of us may be feeling regret in some way, shape, or form through a circumstance of which that, let's say you received a diagnosis, medical diagnosis, and you are having to receive treatment that may or may not be successful in curing you from that sickness or illness. And you're feeling regretful in some way, shape, or form, thinking, what if I would have done this different? What if I could have done that? Or what if... And so that is really, really challenging, extraordinarily challenging to place yourself and train yourself to have a different perspective in forgiving yourself. And one of the mantras that I use daily to help me understand that the victimization programming is ever present. Anyone and everyone that I come into contact with, I see how they're explaining their circumstances in their life based off of believing that this victimization programming is something that has substance. It's through our code. And I see all the suffering through it. And so one of the mantras that I say every day is, and this is powerful, is whatever is meant for me will be for me always, right? So because whatever is meant for me will be for me always is true and you can see the truth in that, if you can find just the finest little thread of truth within that statement, then you can continue saying, I am always making the right decision at the right time for the right lesson, because it's going to assist me with my growth and becoming the highest expression of me and all that I am. Repeating that again. This is the beginning part of the mantra. There's another part of it. So, I am always making the right decision at the right time for the right lesson, and I can never be making the wrong decision at the wrong time for the wrong lesson, because whatever is meant for me will always be for me. So that I have found has definitely assisted me in finding all the different ways that we could be holding regret within our template. So let's say you're someone that clicked on this video and you're listening to it and you haven't thought about anything that you've, have a regret for in a long time. A lot of times something that we have a deep regret for. We usually don't place our mind directly on it very often. We've done everything we possibly can to suppress that feeling that we get because it doesn't feel good and it hurts us. And so we try to heal through forgiveness. And every time we think about something that we could have regretted, especially if it hurt us, if there was any kind of pain that we inflicted upon ourselves, let's say we did something wrong that we are against our moral code, and that we caused us regret because it had an outcome that was manifested and brought to us in a very negative way, and we wish we would have never done it, and that's why we have regret, because we had a negative backlash that came from it. Or we have regret over causing somebody else pain. And we have regret for that. And we tried our best. So sometimes some people bury their regrets and then they're not called upon to think about it again. But that pain never goes away. Unless we do some soul searching and healing, soul healing, really deep soul healing. That pain never goes away. So any regret that you might be holding within your system, it will help you to heal that by learning the lesson. And how do we learn lessons? So in my case, it was brought to my attention, any relationship I've ever encountered or experienced, every single person that entered my life into even the smallest way, like a friend or an acquaintance or a long-term friend and or an intimate relationship and or my family, people in my life have come into my life to teach me lessons on how I can become higher and higher expressions of myself. And how do I become higher expressions of myself? That means how can I heal any pains and traumas that might be within me to learn how to love myself even more. And the more I love myself, and we're not talking about anything to do with ego kind of love, not a, inflated ego kind of love, like you're boastful and arrogance kind of love. No. I'm talking about the pure essence that we are, our pure essence of love. Our soul is made out of pure love, the purest love that you can think of. Loving myself for all that I am in the purest form. And so that way I can express that love outwardly and love all other walks of life equally, because we all hold equal value. So when we hold these regrets, we're not allowing ourselves to love ourselves for all that we are, because we're either blaming ourselves for something that we think we did wrong, or we're blaming somebody else. Now, recently, there was a post from a friend that said controlling, abusive, manipulative people don't hold regret because they're busy pointing their finger and pointing the blame at somebody else. Well, it doesn't mean that they don't have the regret. It just means that they covered it up and they were able to make themselves feel okay with what they did because they're pointing blame. it doesn't mean that they don't feel the regret. So that regret that they internally feel is still there. It's just equally as there as somebody who acknowledges that they have a regret. Whether they acknowledge it or not, it's still there. That pain is still there. And so part of the healing process of forgiving yourself and or forgiving someone else is also knowing that we don't have control over the circumstances that happen to us. We don't have control over anything around us. There's no person, place, thing, circumstance, experience that is within our control. The only thing we ever have control of, ever, is how we respond to the world around us. But we have no control of what happens in the events that take place in the world that surrounds us. We only have control over ourselves. And so when we see that it is important for us to take control over our responses, because we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our own well-being, we owe it to our own happiness, we owe it to ourselves to feel good in every way. But we just don't know how, because we're feeling like a victim in some way. Like, and in this case, I'm talking about regrets. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have been, been smarter about that. I wish I would have made, because then it would have had this outcome instead. And now I didn't get what I wanted. Now I didn't get what I've worked so hard for my whole life. Let's say you worked 20 years at something and now you're like, oh my gosh, especially with a relationship. You're investing all your time and your energy into a relationship and then it goes like that because your expectations. Now there's another thing we haven't mentioned, but expectations are hurting us too. They didn't meet my expectations. They ended up cheating on me or whatever it is. And now you feel regret. But that person was there to help you become a better expression of you, whether or not they let you down or broke your heart or not. Because you can never be making the wrong decision at the wrong time for the wrong lesson. It is always the right decision at the right time for the right lesson. And you have complete control over how you respond to the situation so that you can learn, you can grow, you can expand, and you can see the bigger picture. We are too busy taking things personally. That person hurt me. They did it to me. So we're blaming them. Anytime we have blame, there's going to be some regret. Either we're blaming somebody else or we're blaming ourselves. And that is killing us as a society. It's literally killing us. We're talking about the saying that we are our own worst enemy. Well, you better believe we are. We're the ones that aren't seeing that we can choose our happiness. We just need to shift into another perspective. And this is another mantra that I say every single day to help me understand that the judgment programming doesn't exist when you say this mantra. The mantra is, I curate and cultivate a mindset to see the truth within limitless perspectives. And that limitlessness allows me to open the doors for limitless opportunities and limitless love, limitless compassion, limitless everything. When you have a whole mindset that revolves around limitless perspectives, there's ways that we can find how to heal ourselves from our own pain, our own suffering, our own misery that we put ourselves through because we're busy regretting things, We're busy disrespecting ourselves. We're not putting our peace and our own well-being first. We're putting it last. So, when I say that there are things that we can do to help ourselves feel better and stop our own suffering, and referencing regret, I really, really hope that you can see the importance of healing ourselves and forgiving ourselves in a way that is beyond any other way that we've ever been exposed to. And this takes time. This is not overnight by any means. It takes a lot of time and forgiveness, a lot of hours of spending forgiving yourself and forgiving others to really see what's happening, because they were only there to help you. Nothing is happening to you. Everything's happening for you. So I love you. I love you. I love you with all my heart and all my soul. And I wish you the very best on your journey and the lessons that you have experienced and are yet to experience. Stay blessed. Namaste.